The moment you start focusing on yourself, some people will call you selfish, but the truth is, they just can't control you anymore, and that scares them more than anything. There's a strange thing that happens when you finally choose you. The people who once praised you for being so giving start acting cold. The ones who always needed you suddenly say you've changed. But here's what they won't say out loud. When you stop pouring into everyone else and start pouring into yourself, they lose their power over you. In this video, you'll learn why focusing on yourself is the most powerful thing you can do and why it threatens people who never truly valued you in the first place. Stay with me, because the moment you shift your energy inward, everything changes. Let's get something straight right away. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's survival. It's self-preservation. It's the foundation of every healthy decision you'll ever make. But the world doesn't make it easy. From a young age, many of us are taught to be people pleasers. Say yes when we mean no. Put others first. Keep the peace. Be the nice one. And somewhere along the line, we lose the ability to hear ourselves. So when you finally do pause, when you say, "What do I need?" instead of, "What do they expect?" people notice. Let's talk about why. When you start focusing on yourself, you stop being predictable. You stop jumping when people call. You stop saying yes just to avoid guilt. You stop sacrificing your well-being for someone else's comfort, and the people who were benefiting from the old version of you, they won't like that. Let's walk through how this plays out in real life. Let's say you've been the go-to person in your circle for years. Need a favor? You say yes. Need a ride? You're there. Need someone to vent to for hours? You drop everything, but one day you start to feel tired, burned out, used. So you do something different. You start saying no. You start going to therapy. You start protecting your peace, your time, your space. And suddenly, the same people who once said you're amazing are now saying you've changed. That's not an accident. Because when you focus on yourself, you stop enabling their dependency. You create space between you and their drama. You stop being a source of endless validation, and they feel it, not because you hurt them, but because you're no longer available for the emotional labor they quietly expected. Here's the truth. The version of you that was always giving, always fixing, always saying yes, was easier for others to control. But the version of you that's grounded, self-aware, and has boundaries, that version is powerful, and power always shakes up dynamics. Now here's the tricky part. The moment you start focusing on yourself, you might feel guilty, and that's no accident either. People will guilt you. They'll say you're distant, cold, arrogant. They'll say you don't care anymore. They'll remind you of how you used to be, and you'll start to question if you're the problem. But here's the truth. They don't miss the real you. They miss the version of you that was easy to use. That's the challenge, learning how to sit with the discomfort of disappointing people who were never actually clapping for your growth. And that's hard, especially if you're someone who values connection, harmony, or being seen as the good person. But here's what matters more: peace over approval. Because chasing approval will have you running in circles for the rest of your life and still feeling empty. So what does it actually mean to focus on yourself in a way that builds a better life and a stronger you? It's not about cutting everyone off or going silent. It's about shifting your energy from fixing others to building you. 1. Reclaim your time. Start by looking at your calendar. How much of your time belongs to you? Do you give up your evenings to people who drain you? Do you say yes before even checking in with yourself? Do you feel guilty resting? Reclaiming your time means choosing activities that feed you, not just please others. Examples: saying no without over-explaining, blocking off time just for you, prioritizing rest over being productive 24/7. 2. Set energetic boundaries. Not all boundaries are physical, some are invisible, but just as important. Energetic boundaries mean not answering texts just because they came in, not engaging in drama that has nothing to do with you, not absorbing other people's moods as your own. It's about choosing where your emotional energy goes and refusing to let others dump their chaos into your space. 3. Listen to your needs and meet them. Most of us know how to meet other people's needs better than our own. But ask yourself, what makes me feel calm? What drains me? What have I been ignoring? Start making small daily choices that say, I matter. That might mean going for a walk alone, saying no to a phone call when you're tired, or choosing sleep over scrolling. 4. Unlearn the guilt. Here's something important. Guilt isn't always a sign you're doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt is just a sign you're doing something different, and your brain hasn't caught up yet. You're not used to putting yourself first, so it feels uncomfortable. But discomfort doesn't mean you're wrong, it just means you're growing. Instead of asking, do I feel guilty? Ask, is this decision honoring me or betraying me? That shift changes everything. 5. Stop waiting for permission. If you're waiting for someone to say, it's okay to put yourself first, you might wait forever. People don't always clap for your healing, especially if it means they lose access to the version of you that served them. So don't wait for approval. Choose yourself now. The people meant to be in your life will adjust or fade. Either way, you win. Here's the turning point, the moment everything shifts. The day you stop needing everyone to understand your growth is the day you start owning it. You don't need to write an essay explaining why you're setting boundaries. You don't need to convince people that your peace matters. You don't need to apologize for changing. Because the truth is, focusing on yourself is the most generous thing you can do for yourself and the people around you. When you're full, rested, and grounded, you show up better in every part of your life. But when you're constantly drained, resentful, and running on empty, no one wins. You're not here to be everyone's emergency contact while your own needs go to voicemail. You're here to live a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good from the outside. That begins with focusing on you. Let's bring it all together. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's powerful. And that power might upset some people, but it will also attract the right ones. Here's what that journey looks like. You stop explaining your boundaries and start enforcing them. You replace guilt with peace. You choose rest over proving yourself. You protect your time, your energy, your space. You stop shrinking to fit in and start expanding to become who you really are. And if people don't like that version of you, that's not your burden to carry. You were never meant to stay small just to be liked. You were meant to grow, even if it makes people uncomfortable, because the people who truly love you, they won't be threatened by your peace. They'll be inspired by it. If this message reached you today in a way you needed, thank you for being here. Taking time to focus on yourself, even for a few minutes, is something worth honoring. This space is here to remind you that your growth, your peace, and your healing matter. So if this spoke to you, I'd be grateful if you hit that subscribe button, not just for the channel, but as a quiet promise to yourself to keep going. And whenever you're ready, there's another video waiting for you. Take what you need, when you need it.